So I've been using the iPhone 11 Pro for the past 2 weeks. Basically wanted to share my thoughts and give you my review. I personally went for the iPhone 11 Pro in space grey. I like the smaller form factor. I like smaller phones. I'm not a fan of huge phones. I'd rather have something that can easily fit in my pockets. And I went for the space grey because I just prefer the grey. The midnight green looks fantastic. I think it looks great. I just prefer the grey. When it comes to the standard 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max, the only difference is the bigger screen and the bigger battery. There isn't anything else. There is no other differences. Everything else inside the phone, the cameras, the chip, everything else is exactly the same. You know, the only things you're choosing between are the screen size and the battery. When it comes to comparing it to last year's iPhone XS, you get a bigger battery, you get a new A13 chip, you get better water resistance, you get a faster 18-watt charger in the box, and of course, you get the better cameras. But really, other than that, there isn't too many other changes. Front of the phone looks completely identical to the iPhone X and the iPhone XS. You really can't see any difference, to be honest. The display is supposed to be brighter, and I have noticed it is brighter out in daylight. When you use it in daylight, it goes up to 800 nits now. And when you're viewing HDR content, the highlights can go all the way out to 1200 nits, which is pretty incredible. That is very bright for a display that pretty much fits in your pocket. So yeah, you know, front of the phone pretty much looks exactly the same. 3D Touch has disappeared, and I thought I would miss it, but I've actually quickly gotten used to doing long presses and doing things like that, mainly because when I was using 3D Touch before, I was sort of long pressing anyway. So yeah, 3D Touch is gone. I know a lot of people will be missing that. I don't really see too much of an issue with it gone. I think actually getting rid of that layer has meant Apple can put a bigger battery in the phone itself. So yeah, you know, it looks like 3D Touch is going away altogether. Face ID is definitely faster on the iPhone 11 Pro. I've noticed that it also works at tighter angles. So when I have my phone sitting on the desk, sometimes I don't have to lean all the way over just to unlock it. You know, I can easily kind of unlock it, just pointing it a little bit towards my face, which I definitely appreciate because I keep my phone on a desk, flat on a desk quite often, and you know I don't want to have to keep sort of looking over just to unlock my phone. But that's also down to iOS 13. I noticed on the previous iPhone XS when I upgraded that to iOS 13, that Face ID was much faster too. So yeah, I definitely appreciate the much faster Face ID. It makes a difference when it comes to just unlocking your phone and getting straight into it. iOS 13 itself for me was very buggy when I first got the phone and when I updated it on my iPhone XS. You know, there were a lot of bugs and apps would crash and the camera app sometimes would launch up and I'd just get a blank screen. I wouldn't be able to use the camera. It would force me to force close the camera app so that I could use the camera, which is obviously super frustrating. Thankfully, Apple have updated it and they've sort of gotten rid of a lot of the bugs. And since iOS 13.1.2, I haven't actually seen any issues. I haven't had any issues at all with the camera or any apps crashing. When it comes to the rear of the phone, that's where you're going to see the biggest changes. Now, there is, of course, that very controversial triple camera setup. They've also changed the glass to a sort of frosted matte finish, which I think looks incredible. I really like the look of it. They've moved the Apple logo to the middle of the device, and they've gotten rid of the iPhone label altogether. The camera really is the big deal this year when it comes to changes to the iPhone, and it's what Apple have been marketing on the website. If you go to the website and you look at the iPhone 11 page, all you see is the camera updates. So Apple are really pushing the camera changes this year. Now there's a wide angle lens in addition to the standard lens and the telephoto lens. I've been especially looking forward to the wide angle lens on the iPhone 11. Ever since I used it on the Samsung Galaxy S10 earlier this year, I just felt like I needed that lens. I need a wide angle lens on an iPhone, and thankfully Apple have done it this year. It creates some very unique looks. I've taken some incredible pictures with it, and it's so wide, it's just incredible how much you can fit in the frame. I have found though that in low light it's pretty poor. You know, you do need a lot of light, you do need a lot of natural light to get the best out of the wide angle lens. But I love it, you know. I just think when using it properly, when using it in very well lit conditions, you can get some incredible perspectives. The standard camera has got a noticeable upgrade. I found it's much sharper and it's more natural looking than ever, which I really like. You know, I do use filters anyway. I use Lightroom to edit my pictures anyway, but having a base picture which looks incredible, which looks great and is natural from the get-go, just makes it easier to edit those photos and get it looking the way I want. The new low light mode is cool, and Apple did make a big deal about it when they revealed the iPhone, but I personally just don't see the big deal. I don't think the pictures still look all that amazing in low light mode, and it's not really Apple's fault because they're doing everything they can with the software. It's mainly down to that lens in the iPhone itself. The lens is so small, there's only so much you can do with it. You know, if you want to take great low light pictures, you have to have a professional camera with a big sensor on it. That's the only way you're going to get very good low light pictures. So yeah, I mean, you can get some cool pictures with it, and it is pretty incredible how much the camera itself can pick up, how much a picture can pick up. But yeah, I just don't see the big deal with it, and I don't see myself using it that much. I just prefer to use the camera in very well lit conditions. The video capabilities on the iPhone 11 Pro are the best. There's no other way to put it. It is the best smartphone if you want to take good quality videos. You know, the sharpness, the clarity, the sort of colors, everything is just so good. Even I'm shocked at how good it is. You know, if you're someone who wants to do YouTube videos, you could use an iPhone to do YouTube videos. I've seen people use iPhones to do YouTube videos, and I've even been shocked at how clear and how amazing the picture is, how amazing the quality of the video is. Apple just seem to have done an incredible job with it. The autofocus is crazy fast and crazy accurate. I've been very impressed by how good it is. It puts big camera manufacturers to shame with how good it is, and I think it just shows how much effort Apple have put into the software to make the autofocus that good. Apple have also done an amazing job with the software-based video stabilization. Some of the footage that comes out of the iPhone 11 Pro is just incredible with how stable it is. Especially when you use the ultra wide angle lens, you can just get super stable, super smooth footage, and you're just amazed at how it's come out of a device that pretty much fits in your pocket. So yeah, Apple have done an amazing job with that. At the time of this review, I definitely think the iPhone 11 Pro is the best camera on any smartphone right now. You know, it really is just incredible. I mean, I would go as far as to say it's basically a camera with a phone, not a phone with a camera. It's really that good. You know, some of the photos, some of the videos that you can get with it, you know, you don't really need a compact camera anymore. Unless you're a professional photographer who really enjoys photography, or even an amateur, I guess, you know, you really don't need to carry around a camera with you. You can use your iPhone as your main photo and video device. You know, it's just incredible some of the stuff that you can get out of it. However, in a few weeks, Google are supposed to be announcing and releasing the Google Pixel 4, so that might change. The Google Pixel 4 might have a better camera, and usually they do. Google have done a great job with their cameras, but we'll see. For now, the iPhone 11 Pro is the best camera on a smartphone. Apple have said that they've increased the battery life on the iPhone 11 Pro as well, and I've definitely noticed it. There is a considerable increase in battery life. Obviously, everyone's battery sort of usage and phone usage is going to be different. However, from my usage, I can easily go a day with a good 30-40% left at the end of the day. I think if you're a very light user and you're quite careful with your iPhone, with the iPhone 11 Pro, you could probably squeeze 2 days of battery life out of it. It really is that good. Those battery improvements mainly come down to, of course, a bigger battery in the phone itself and iOS 13. The iPhone 11 Pro is a fantastic phone. It has the best camera, it has amazing battery life, and you know, if you're tied into the sort of iOS Apple sort of ecosystem, you're going to love it. I think it's a fantastic phone. You know, the overall build and finish as well is just incredible as ever. Apple do know how to make a good quality smartphone. But every year the changes are becoming smaller and smaller, because I feel like manufacturers have sort of hit a limit of what you can do with a smartphone and how much you can pack into a smartphone. You know, smartphones are becoming so good these days that there really isn't too much else you can add to them. You know, they're basically just a piece of glass or a piece of metal with a screen that takes up most of the front and some cameras. You know, there isn't really much else you can do with a phone, with a smartphone. And because there's more choice than ever, you know, spending $1,000 on a phone, on any phone, not just the iPhone, is a hard pill to swallow. Unless you really want the camera upgrades and the bigger battery, I don't think it's really worth upgrading from an iPhone XS or an iPhone 10. You know, it's a lot of money to spend, and I think it may be worth waiting till next year. If you're upgrading from anything lower than an iPhone 10, then I definitely think it's worth upgrading. You're going to see better camera, you're going to see better battery, you're going to see a faster phone, you're going to see a better screen. You know, there's a lot of changes from anything below an iPhone 10. However, I think I still would recommend the iPhone 11 for most people. Mainly because the iPhone 11, you know, you get the same cameras except from the telephoto. You know, you get the same chip, and you know, it's an overall great phone. You are missing out on the better screen, but you know, unless you really want the sort of top of the end and you want to be at the forefront, you want to have the latest and greatest, you know, I think the iPhone 11 is going to be the better choice for most people. I'm still going to be sticking with the iPhone 11 Pro because I like to have latest and greatest. It's going to be my main phone for the foreseeable future. But other than that, that's been my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you liked it, like the video if you liked it, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and thanks for watching.